Hi, my name is Zara Alicia Rose, and we will be doing another affirmative yoga practice. And the affirmation for today, as I create and listen, I will be led. So grab your mat, grab your towel, grab some water, and let's go ahead and do it. Okay, let's start at the top of our mat. Really take up your arms all the way to the sky, all the way to the sky. Really reach. And from here, we're going to take in our breath. We're just going to whisper. As I create and listen, I will be led. And then exhale in cactus arms. Lift it all the way back up. And cactus arms. One more. Lift all the way up, all the way up. And we're going to take it down. And really let your head hang. And it's okay to bend your knees here. And just remember to take your time with this practice. As I create and listen, I will be led. And then come halfway up. And then come all the way down into your plank. Into that chaturanga. Into upward dog. Into downward dog. And just take a moment to really embrace this downward dog. I like walking on my dog. If you feel like finding stillness today, you totally can. Let's go ahead and lift up that left leg. With your hips aligned. What helps me is like bending this front knee to make sure that my hips are aligned. And then let's just bring it in. And lift it all the way up. And let's bring that knee to chest one more time. Lift all the way up. Once again. And let it go. Go into your warrior one. Cartwheel out to your warrior two. And look forward at your hand. Take a moment. You can move in this if you want. Like I like doing mini pulses some days. Or you can just find stillness. Just really listen to your body today. And then go ahead, lean forward, and just reach over your head. And take the time to really go into that full lunge where you take that back foot off the ground. Really just lean forward. Lower down a little bit more, then put your hands on the ground and lift that left hand up. And just find yourself in a twist. And if you really want to challenge yourself, get up to the side. And try to look towards your back hand, but if that hurts your neck, there's nothing wrong with switching your focal point. And then reach your hands all the way on the ground. Go back into that plank. Into chaturanga. Into upward dog. Into downward dog. You guys ready for the other leg? And let's bring that right leg all the way up. Make sure those hips are squared. Bring it to the center. Knee to chest. Once again. Knee to chest. Exhale. Come all the way through to the front. Let's plant that back foot. Raise it into warrior one, and then open up into warrior two. And remember, if you want to like go down lower, just make sure that like your knee never passes your ankle. And then lean forward, put that elbow to knee, and just rise above. And then take a moment, breathe in and breathe out, and let that arm that was on your knee come forward, twist, make sure you're on your ankle, and really hold this lunge. And remind yourself of the affirmation. As I create and listen, I will be led. And then come all the way down. Lift that right arm all the way up. And then come up slowly. You can look towards that right arm. And then rotate it all the way up. And this time, we're going to take our left foot and meet it to our right and come into chair pose. Let's just take a mini pulse here. Mini squat. Mini squat. Let's take 2 more. And then reach all the way up with all the strength and power, and just lean back a little bit and open back up with those cactus arms. Rise all the way back up. Shake it out a little bit. Reach all the way to the sky and let it go as you drop your head down. Touch your toes if you can. If not, bend your knees. Come halfway up. And then if you want to hop into plank, let's do that. And then go into chaturanga, into upward dog, into downward dog. And let's take a moment here in downward dog and just come into like a nice hover. And then go back into downward dog. And really see how that feels within your body. So go hover as I create and listen. I will be led. Exhale. And let's go through it one more time. As I create and listen, I will be led. It's okay to move the way you want during this practice. I'm only a guide. It's all about you. And let's take our time and take that left leg all the way up. Make sure your hips are squared. Come all the way through the center. Knee to chest. Take it all the way back up. Switch it up. Knee to elbow. Take it all the way back up. Knee to other elbow. Take it up one more time. Come all the way back down. Plant that back foot into warrior one. Open up into warrior two. Make sure that your hips are squared. Fix up your leggings if you have to. And And just lean forward. Put that elbow onto the knee. And really feel the stretch. Take your time and twist into that lunge with your arms all the way up. And then drop those hands down. Lift that left arm all the way up. As I create and listen, I will be led. And come on, all the way up into this lunge. And just breathe into this. I know it's hard, but life is hard. But being flexible throughout life is how you get through it. And then come all the way back down. Plant those hands and take that left leg all the way to your right hand and come into your pigeon pose. If you need to lean back, that's okay. And just make sure that your hips are aligned. Like what I like doing is making sure I flex this foot before I point it. And just go all the way up and lengthen that spine. Breathe here and then just go all the way down. And really breathe into this pose. And whisper the affirmation to yourself. It's for you, by the way. As I create and listen, I will be led. And take your hands to the side and just lift up. Lift up slowly, slowly, slowly so you can lengthen that spine again. Get all that good juiciness. If you want to twist your head side to side, go ahead. And then take a moment to really configure yourself back into your plank. Okay? However you decide to get there, it's your journey. If you want to hop back there, step back there, take your time, do whatever. Go into that chaturanga, into that upward dog. And now into this downward dog. And we're going to take our time to do some of those hovers again. And then going all the way back into our downward dog. And really follow your breath for this. So inhale into the hover. Exhale back into downward dog. Inhale, hover. Exhale, back to downward dog. And then take your time, put that right leg all the way up, and then go all the way to the center. Knee to chest, up once more. Knee to right elbow, up again. Knee to left elbow. And then up one last time. Woo. All the way down, plant that back foot, come into your warrior one, spin out into warrior two. As I create and listen, I will be led. Take that elbow to your knee and that left arm all the way up. And then come all the way to the center. Lift up that back foot into your lunge. And then drop those hands. And then you know what we're about to do. Lift that right hand all the way up. And then come up and breathe. Because this pose is all about balance. And then come back down. Take a moment here before you take that right foot all the way to your left hand and get into that pigeon pose. And it's okay if your leg heel is all the way next to your hip. That's okay. Just make sure that your hips are aligned. If you need to flex that back foot for a little, and then you see the hole in my sock. Super entertaining. And just lift up and lengthen. And then come all the way down and just breathe and just whisper to yourself. The hips are huge storage depots for just stress, trauma, and everything. So it's good to let loose. Whisper to yourself loving words, or whisper to yourself the affirmation. It's up to you. And then come all the way up. Really lengthen that spine and get all the way into your plank, whichever way you choose to. Into your chaturanga, into your upward dog, into your downward dog, and just take a break here. Take a quick little break. And then widen out that dog. Whether you want to go as wide as your mat or a little bit wider. And just see how that feels for a moment. See how far back you can get your shoulders. And just heel toe back in, or tippy toe back in. And from here, you're just gonna come all the way. And just meet right about here. So your hands should be on the ground, your feet should be on the ground. And this is where, as I create and listen, I will be led. Because what we're gonna try here is to get into our pigeon pose. Alright, pigeon pose. So just make sure your elbows and your knees are connected, or they're right above. And just take your time and look right ahead of you. And really balance here. If you can't balance here, that's okay. You can stay here and just practice. See how much weight you can put on your legs. How much weight you can put on your elbows. If you want to just add a little bit more motion, come into that nice squat. And take your time here, opening up your hips. And then come back. On your own time, though. Come back down into your squat. And just try it one more time. Just give it your best shot. And if you can't lift your feet off the ground, that's not an issue. That's just exactly where you are today. Okay. Come all the way up. Come back down and just squat down. Really open up those hips. And if you want to add a little bit more flavor, take up that left arm and reach that right arm all the way to the left ankle or left toe. As I create and listen, I will be led. And bring it back down to the center. And then bring your left arm all the way to your right toe. And lift up that right arm. Just look up at it. As I create and listen, I will be led. And then take a moment to go to the back, where you just drop down on your butt and come down into a butterfly. One of the gym class favorites. And just lift all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. And come down. And just whisper to yourself, say it as loud as you want. As I create and listen, I will be led. And slowly roll it all the way back up. Come into a crisscross applesauce. Or into seated pose and lift those hands all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Take your hands to your heart. And namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Let's do this again.